let's say, nagbi-victimize sila. Tapos gusto nila, meron nag-advertise, o trabaho sa Cambodia. Tapos ito yung trabaho. Pero alam naman natin, baka ito, yung mga scam centers, di ba? Or mga human trafficking centers. Can AYACAT, first of all, number one, detect those and report those advertising that are victimizing Filipinos? And then number two, pwede nyo ba i-counter yan by coming up with your own online campaign to stop yung mga ganitong mga fake online campaigns?
Pwede po magsagawa yung IACAT ng counter online awareness campaign. At pangalawa po, meron din po tayong medyo maliit pa lang po na unit ngayon, yung Cyber Theft Operations Monitoring Division, na isa po sa mga tungkulin nila ay mag-surveillance online. So, hindi lamang po sa issue ng online sexual abuse or exploitation of children, pero maging itong mga issue na rin po ng fake job advertisements and even yung illegal adoption and baby selling na laganap rin po online. So, sa ngayon po, nasa ilalim po ng NCC o SAIC-CSAM ang ating Cyber Theft Operations Unit, and hopefully po, with the support of your excellencies, mapalaki pa po at mapagtibay natin yung unit na ito dahil isusulong po talaga nito yung ating pagresponde sa pamamagitan ng digital platforms din.
Augmentations that we want, amendment na gagawin natin para mapalaki yung online presence ng AYACAT and yung national coordinating, yung OSAM?
Yes.
Yun ang gusto natin palakihin yung presence, no? So, yung mga i-amend natin to improve your budget, sana malagay natin doon, Secretary, kasi dyan talaga naghahanap ng biktima online, no?
Dito ho sa paglatag ho ng iba't ibang programa, tatlo po ang key education, deterrence, and prevention. So, sa iba't ibang aspeto po, malaking bagay po talaga yung programa sa IEC, no? Sa Information and Education Campaign. Hindi lang ho sa plataforma ng online, no? Pati na rin ho sa grassroots. Kasi meron nga po kaming may mga program po. Ito po, initiatibo, pero nakita po namin maganda sa Catanduanes po. Yung aming pong provincial prosecutor lang, in enhancing protection of children, nag-open lang siya ng forum. Okay? After po ng forum niya, and I like to mention, our provincial prosecutor, Santua, it was her own initiative. Marami hong lumapit kasi hindi pa nila alam, biktima na sila. Opo, may mga pamamara. Hindi, we will discuss it with you. Oho. Kaya nga how we enhance, how we move from this yung learnings, we can definitely po. Ang tatlo pong bahagi kasi talaga para rin ng corruption education, prevention, and deterrence.
This is one of the highest or biggest national security issues. Kasi it really runs into the fabric of our society. It's children, minors, it's women, and men as well, LGBT. So, and the criminal syndicates don't appear like traffickers. They use other means. Perhaps pogo, perhaps business, iba-iba. Yeah. You're supposed to have, under my original law, NGOs as part of the, sino ang NGO nyo? Women NGO.
Women NGO po ay ang international, ang World Vision.
World Vision.
World Vision.
Kasi meron dapat kayong private sector, women, overseas Filipinos, and children. Sino yung inyong tatlong representante sa tatlong yun?
Madam, we have World Vision, International Justice Mission for Children, and Las Ople Center for Overseas Filipino Workers.
ICJ. I work with them. You know, Mr. Chair, just to share with these two younger senators, since the late 70s and 80s, this has been my advocacy, And as a young senator in 1998, who has been in the Senate since then, it was one of the first bills I filed, and I'm still, I feel very strongly about this, because if I may share, as a young journalist and documentarist, I would interview and meet children who were trafficked, and but of course we would cover the faces. This was 80s. I wish I could find my documentaries, investigative reports that I would do on trafficked women and children. Yeah. So I'll try to find, I don't know if, siyempre mga traffic. Then, if I may share, I even raided trafficking dens. Ganun ako katapang nun, JD. Raid ako, kasama ng police. No, or I would call the local police or what. You know, wala pang digital nun. Ako si ABS-CBN. Dala ko cameraman at saka ako reporter. I-raid namin. Kasama ako. Ano pa ako nun? Matapang. 1980s. I remember that, and maybe I should research my scripts at the time. They were all hard copy. I had a list of all traffickers, and if I may share, and when I ran for the Senate in 98 up to 204, they tried to block me and block propaganda. I don't know how. There was no online yet. And then I was a young senator. We raided a den somewhere in the south. Yeah, I won't say where. It was in an exclusive village. Basta ganun. And they tried to black prop me on Facebook. May Facebook na nun. I just wanted to tell you the history of this because it's been my advocacy since I was in my teen or early, in my journalism days, when I started journalism in the early 80s. So, and I know that it's one of the top 3 national security issues of our country. Because when there's trafficking, there's drugs, there's criminality, there's all of this. Yeah. So we can have an executive session on that, and please let us know the support needed. I just want to put on record the U.S. Trafficking in Persons report. I'll read it verbatim, and I quote, hindi po galing sa akin ito. Some officials in law enforcement, immigration agencies, and other government entities are allegedly complicit in trafficking or allow traffickers to operate with impunity. Unquote. I did not say this. It disturbs me. This is the latest report. So, kung tayo'y napasukan sa ating ahensya ng gobyerno, this is a very big national security issue. The Immigration Commissioner is here. Yes, I wonder, Commissioner, is this a major issue that you are tackling, sir? And have you been in immigration for a long time? Are you aware of this problem? And do we actually have child traffickers or persons trafficking in persons or traffickers, for that matter, employed by government or even casual hires? I want to know. And if it's a national security issue, we can have another meeting, but it will be executive session on trafficking. It's a very serious national security issue. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Senator, and with the permission of our OIC Secretary, we reaffirm our commitment to the anti-trafficking efforts of our government, Your Honor. And the greatest ally in our fight against human trafficking is the law that you drafted, Your Honor. In 2022, the Bureau of Immigration turned over 392 potential victims to the Interagency Council Against Trafficking. In 2023, it was 726. In 2024, it was 1,070. Addressing the issue concerning the complicity of certain immigration officials, 42 immigration officers were endorsed to the Department of Justice for investigation. We are constantly on the lookout for officers who might be participants in this heinous crime, and we continually address that. We are not apologists. there are certain immigration officers and they are under investigation.
Thank you for that, Commissioner.
Welcome, Your Honor.
Yes, you seem knowledgeable about this law and the issues surrounding it. And I will stop there because it has to be discussed in an executive session. It's a national security, major national security issue. Because where there's trafficking, there's drugs. And where there's drugs, there's everything else. Yeah. So I'll stop there. Mr. Chair, I have another question. Do I have time before I go to my next?
Go ahead, Senator
Yes.
Lauren.
Another advocacy would be on stateless persons. Sino kayo makausap ko nun on stateless persons? Many years ago, alam nyo, ito lang, I amended the budget. Tuwan-tuwa yung agency or bureau under DOJ dahil napansin daw sila at dati maliit ang budget, naglagay ako ng budget na empower sila. Sino ba sila nun? Kayo. Attorney Chan, kayo rin. No.
Yes, Madam Senator.
It was still you who came to me?
Yes, Madam Senator. I believe it was around December of 2023 when we
2023
personally...
budget.
Yes.
Nakatulong ba?
Yes, Madam Senator.
Babasahin ko lang yung tanong ko. Nandiyan ka pa rin. Kayo ba yon? Sana may isa-isay naman yung amendment ko sa budget nyo. Sige po. Babasahin ko lang, ha? The Department of Justice houses the Refugees and Stateless Persons Protection Unit, the government's primary office for handling refugee and statelessness cases in the Philippines. The RSPPU is responsible for determining refugee and stateless status, issuing official documentation, coordinating with agencies such as the Department of Foreign Affairs, the Bureau of Immigration, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees to ensure protection and legal stay for qualified individuals. The Philippines, one of the first countries in Southeast Asia to accede to relevant conventions and refugee protection, has been recognized by the UNHCR as a regional model for refugee protection and continues to process applications from displaced individuals, including Palestinian nationals seeking refugee amid the ongoing conflict, although I'm glad that there is a ceasefire now. So we introduced an amendment to a previous GAA to augment the budget for the Refugees and Stateless Persons Protection Unit. Ayun. 8.9 million, I think. Yeah. And then I made a statement on the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza, condemning the unlawful military offensive across the occupied Palestinian territory, etc. And so, I'd just like to know, can the department please provide an update on the Philippines Refugee and Stateless Persons Program, particularly on how it is supporting applicants from Palestine and other areas under the ongoing humanitarian crisis. This is to seek clarity on the progress and priorities of the country's refugee protection efforts, especially in assisting displaced Palestinian and other nationals. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Senator. To reiterate, the Refugees and Stateless Persons Protection Unit extends its sincerest appreciation to the Madam Senator for the introduction of or the augmentation of the budget of the DOJ to the extent of close to 9 million, which was earmarked specifically for the Refugees and Stateless Persons Protection Unit. With the budget that the good Senator allotted for the unit, we were able to conduct several orientations and trainings to various government agencies, which under Executive Order 163 series of 2022 were mandated to provide protection services to asylum seekers, not just to refugees and stateless persons, but to asylum seekers in general. And fortunately, Madam Senator, a lot of government agencies are now made aware as to the plight of these individuals. Now, specifically with respect to the Palestinian nationals that are entered the country, I believe sometime in early 2024, some have already applied for recognition as a refugee, while some did not push through with their applications.